Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So once again we're doing an advice video because I'm getting so many emails from you guys asking me to start from the airport with the advice and then carry on to Pattaya and everything else, which I didn't do in the last videos, and being it's for a first time as I should have done, so sorry about that. We'll just do a very short 4 or 5 minute chat on the airport, and then we'll move on to other things, and then I've got 2 stories at the end as well. So let me run through a bunch of do's and don'ts for you to start with. So starting at Suvarnabhumi Airport, Bangkok Airport, after you pass through immigration, you'll see some money exchange kiosks. And now the rates are not particularly good, but you will need Thai baht for the bus or the taxi, so just exchange enough money for your immediate needs and exchange more once you arrive in Pattaya at one of the dozens of kiosks like the yellow TT ones, which are quite a decent rate, and there are some others also good rate, and they're all over Pattaya. There's no shortage of those. Then after you've got your luggage at the airport and you're approaching the airport exit gate, which is number 3 or number 4 normally, you'll see on the left hand side a bunch of kiosks selling SIM card packages and SIM cards. The companies such as AIS or DTAC or True are all well known good companies. So just pick the kiosk with the shortest queue, as all the companies are offering very similar packages. It makes no difference really which one you choose for your 2-3 weeks month holiday. It really doesn't matter. So just choose a package which is appropriate to the length of your stay. You know, the 2-week package for if you're staying 2 weeks, a month if you're staying a month, and what have you. Now it's very important that the phone you're using with this Thai SIM card is already unlocked. So before you leave your own country, make sure that the SIM card, the phone is unlocked, or the SIM card won't work at all. Now I know some of you guys who've been before have a special cheap unlocked Thai phone that you bought in Thailand and you only use in Thailand. Each time that you arrive, you just buy a new package, a new SIM card, put it into the phone that you've got, and leave your home phone switched off the whole entire time you're in Thailand to avoid excessive roaming charges. That's one way to do it. Obviously if you're very first time, you won't have that option, so you'll have to make sure your own phone is unlocked, and take out your SIM card from home, put your Thai SIM card in, and the first thing you want to do when it's working is download 3 apps. There's the Line messaging app, there's the Bolt taxi app, and there's the Thai friendly dating app. That's the 3 that you must download straight away. Line is a messaging app which every single Thai girl in Pattaya has on her phone. So when you meet one, you can contact her at any time. Bolt is a really good taxi app. It has air-conditioned cheap car taxis, not motorbike taxis. They do motorbike, but I wouldn't bother with those. Which you can use if you venture outside the Sacred Bark bus route, which I know many of you never do. You never leave the Bark bus route, but you should be more adventurous. Use Bolt. It allows you to do that. Now the third one is Thai friendly, and that is the best hookup app in Thailand, and a lot of young freelancers these days only use Thai friendly. They don't do anything else. They just get exclusively customers or similar apps from Thai friendly, and they don't work in bars anymore. A lot of young girls are like that now. That's why there's a shortage of girls, partly, I think. Now lastly, at the airport, you want to get to Pattaya, so you want to go down to the ground floor level and either get a cheap bus, which will take 2 or 3 hours, well maybe 4, depends on how many stops it makes, or get a taxi to Pattaya. It's about 1200 baht for a taxi, roughly. Between 12 and 15, depends on how good you can negotiate. So that it deals with the airport, okay? Now, once you're in Pattaya, the best way to get around is the BART bus system. Now, these are pickup trucks which have 2 bench seats, and they travel around 3 main routes in Pattaya. And I'll put a link up to the top. I've done 2 videos to show you 2 of the 2 main routes. The third route is actually from South Pattaya Road over to Jomtien. That's the third one. But what happens is you just see them coming toward you, and as they approach, you just wave it down. You never speak to the driver. You just walk straight to the back, climb in the back and sit down, and he will just drive off and follow his route. When you get near to where you want to be, you just press the bell which is above your head. There's several bells, and he'll stop. Now you walk to the front of the cab. On the left side, not the right side where all the traffic is. You're on the left side, and you reach across and you give him a 10 baht coin, which you should keep in your pocket at all times, at least two or 3 of them. You never ask him how much it is. It's always 10 baht, and you never give him a note bigger than, say, 50 baht, as it will annoy him. He might just take it as a tip and drive off. You give him 100 baht, he could. I've seen it done. I know it happens. Right? He'll just take the 100 baht and look at you and say thank you and drive off. and if anyone ever pulls him, say, oh, I thought it was a tip, you know. So that's a little lesson. So don't try to be clever and give him a big note, or you might lose it. Now, as far as motorbike taxis are concerned, if you do use one instead of a BART bus or a Bolt taxi, which you should be doing, you shouldn't be using motorbike taxis really, always tell the motorbike guy where you want to go and ask him for a price. Never get on a motorbike taxi without asking the price, because when you arrive at your destination, the price will be double what it should be. Also, if there are 2 of you and you both get onto a motorbike taxi, so there's the driver and you and your mate, then the taxi guys all run a scam where they charge double for 2 people, even though they only make the trip once. Not like a normal taxi, yeah? It's just a little scam the motorbike guys run. So that's as far as getting around is concerned. Another thing which you need to maybe, as a first timer, be aware of is food and eating. You're staying in a hotel. You're probably not going to eat in a hotel. You're going to eat out. Now, don't go eating fast food from the West all the time, like KFC and McDonald's. Try Thai street food. Try it. When I used to come here on vacation, I only ever ate street food. It was usually kebabs or barbecue or something like that, and I was never ever sick, okay? But I had one very important rule. I had to watch them cooking it, so it was always freshly cooked and hot. Don't eat anything that's been sitting around on the barrel for a while. It could have had dozens of flies all over it if it's been sitting there for an hour or 2. Always make sure what you eat is, you see it on the barbecue, you see it burn, basically. It kill any bacteria, you know what I mean? And then you eat it, okay. So, another thing, don't miss out on the markets. I mean, there's some absolute bargains. Now, when I say markets, I don't only mean the places like the big market at the bottom of Sorbet Cow and what have you. I don't only mean that. I mean things like Mike's Shopping Mall on Second Road, opposite the Edge Condos, and the Pattaya Night Bazaar opposite Central Festival, also on Second Road. Now, these places sell high quality copy goods, like Nike sneakers, trainers, branded shirts, designer ladies' bags, And these types of copy items can last you for ages. I mean, I've bought copy Nike sneakers, and they've just lasted and lasted and lasted, just like the real thing. And I know girls who had bags, designer bags from Night Bazaar, and a year, 2, 3 later, they're still using them because they're well made. So don't think they're going to fall apart, because they're not. These can last you for ages. But there is one type of copy item which you should never buy, and that is the copy watches, like the Rolex or the Omega, etc., because they always break after only a few weeks. They're a complete waste of money, in my opinion. I've experienced it, I've tried it, they'll never last. Okay. Anyway, moving from daytime to evening scams. If you go for a walk down Walking Street at night, for example, you will see every few meters some guy, or even a girl these days, waving a card showing pictures of sexy ping pong shows and saying that the show is free and it's just around the corner. Don't go. You hear that? Do not go. Alright? I know a couple of guys who were first timers who were taken to a room with 2 girls with nothing on and a small stage, and the girls just messed about with each other. And the guys were told they had to buy a couple of drinks. So they had a couple of Chang beers. And then after 15 minutes they got bored, and they said, okay, give us the bill, we're going, it's boring. The bill was 1,000 baht each beer. And there were 2 heavies standing by the door, and the exit door was closed. They paid and they left, knowing that they could have seen exactly the same thing at Windmill for free. Another thing which you need to be wary of is if you go to a restaurant, always check the price. Okay, that sounds fairly obvious, but with many seafood restaurants, they don't give the price as such. They give a price for the expensive items like lobster, shrimps, mantis shrimp, all that sort of, by weight. So they'll give you the price, but they won't tell you exactly what it is. Just say that's the price by weight, so much per kilo or whatever. And then when you've finished your food, they'll present you with a bill showing the weight of the food, which is now in your stomach. And the weight can be 3 or 4 times what it should be. How are you going to check? You can't check. So you have no choice but to pay. I personally never, since it happened to me once in Bangkok, I never order any meal by weight, where the fish is or the seafood is by weight. It just leaves you completely wide open to be taken advantage of. Anyway, just some do's and don'ts for newbies regarding Pattaya itself. Now we can move on to a couple of stories if you like. I've got 2. Okay. Now one of them is slightly different to the normal stories in that I'm going to ask your opinion at the end. Okay. So let's start with that one. So the other day I was in Soy Boomerang doing some pricing research for the channel in a gents club when I came across a new arrival who had an interesting story. He was a pretty young girl, only 23, single with no kids, and from a dirt poor Isan family. She had to leave school at the age of 12 as her family needed money, and she had to go work in a laundry until she was 20 years old, when she was old enough to start working in a bar in Udon, which is where they lived, and making much better money than the laundry. So just as she began to work in the bar, she'd only been there a couple of months, and then COVID arrived, and the COVID lockdown arrived, and she had to go back to the laundry for a further 2 more years. until this August, just gone, when her father, unfortunately, had developed cancer and he passed away. And that left her mother and 8 children. And the girl and her 20-year-old brother would then have to be the family breadwinners, as they were the oldest. So she decided to go back to work in the bar in Udon. And her brother decided to help by making a quick buck selling drugs. And he promptly got caught and has just started a 3-year prison sentence, leaving her alone to take care of the entire family. She realized that she could never make enough in Udon, so she arrived in Pattaya last month, and she sends almost all of her earnings home to her mother to take care of the family. Now, when she was telling me her story, I could see her eyes were filling up and she was getting visibly upset, so I changed the subject. So I mean, what I was going to ask you was, what do you think of this story? Is the girl telling the truth, or is it a complete scam? Now, she didn't ask me for any money at all, and after 20 years I know what to look for. She also had English at only a very basic beginner level. I mean, we had to talk half in Thai, half in English, to be honest with you. She didn't have a single tattoo, and she was not pushy for drinks. And she didn't know Pattaya hardly at all. When I said back here and there, have you been here? No, she knew nothing. So, I mean, I know we criticise these girls very often, but sometimes they come from extreme poverty. And can you blame them for using whatever tool is at their disposal to survive? Now the question is, guys, is the girl telling me the truth? Or was it all completely made up? You tell me, because, you know, I know what I think, but you tell me, okay? Have we got time for another story? Not sure we have. We'll try quickly, okay? So this is just a little short story from my hairdresser friend. She has a customer who is a very, very pretty go-go dancer, and she has an Australian boyfriend who works in Australia, and he sends her 20,000 baht every month, and everything's okay. And she promised him that she only works for the 1,000 baht a day salary in the go-go, and the drinks and the tips, and she never goes with the customer, which was true until the other day, when this particularly good-looking young American guy walked into the go-go, and she and he stared at each other, and there was like instant chemistry, she said, and she went straight over to him, and they had drinks together, and he said, "I want a bar from you." And she thought, okay, we can do that, because I don't have to see my boyfriend until about 3 o'clock, speak to him until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when he finishes work in Australia. So she said yes. Then the American guy said, I've only got 3 more days left of my holiday. I want you to take it for the whole 3 days. So you come stay with me in my hotel for 3 days. Well, that gives the girl a little more problem. But she said, yes, okay. But I have a girlfriend who shares my apartment with me, and I have to go let her in when she comes back from work about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and go wash my clothes and underwear and change clothes. And the American guy said, okay, fine, no problem, you do that. So for 3 days she stayed with him, and then about 2 or 3 in the afternoon she went back to her place just for an hour, called her Australian boyfriend, everything's okay, and then she scuttled back to the hotel, and she spent all 3 days with the American guy. Anyway, this is Thailand. So don't forget to subscribe and like and share and ring the bell, guys, and have a look down below, click where it says more at Patreon. And thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you on the next video. See you guys.